So I'm doing myself a Vitruvian man for my birthday, and first card that absolutely jumped out, 10 of Cups. So thank you, totally appreciate that. Now this bit is a bit less charming. Three of Swords, second time wants to jump out, so I let it, and Eight of Swords. So I was mentally asking in what direction am I heading in, and this is the answer. So heartbreak and stress, very fucking charming. And there might potentially be a conflict with a creative, empowered, sexy, determined, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Not determined. Assertive. Creative but assertive person. And if this refers to the previous person who held the position of the Knight and King of Wands in my reads, I know exactly who, and that might explain the Three of Swords completely. Okay, so here we are with the Vitruvian man for myself using the red fairy tarot. Normally it's only 6 positions, but I don't know why I was called to have a 7th one, so there will be a 7th one. Anyway, let's start. Headspace, collaboration, and for once, interesting. So a very fruitful collaboration, which, knowing my situation at the moment, this would be between me and my muse at the 5D level, aka the higher self, the energetic spiritual self, because we are not communicating in the 3D, not that I would be aware of, or at not in official capacity. Anyway, yes, this is actually it. Peace has been restored, so the conflict is sort of over, and I do feel his energy, or I am more at peace, and I'm being inspired for the story which he inspired. So I will assume that peace has been restored, because if I wouldn't be at peace, I wouldn't be able to drift in that zone, in that creative zone, in that collaborative zone where I need to be to grasp ideas and concepts to translate into fiction. The fact that it's a Four of Wands is a bit, in French I would say inusité, which is surprising or odd or unexpected, because we are not technically in a official, or we are not even in union of any sort, not to my knowledge. But at the 5D, maybe he's like higher level soulmate or something more meaningful and more, I don't know, significant, more potent, more impactful. But yeah, so I'm definitely, what's in my headspace is our energies intertwining and intermingling to keep pushing this project forward and hopefully finish it, and maybe a series of short stories where he is also the lead character, or I base my lead character on him or inspired by him, sort of. But it's just like his energy is inspiring me things, and I translate that inspiration into words and characters and stories. Now then, what I was doing in the past was Five of Cups, which, yes, I was regretting that the connection broke off, but I'm also rushing back into it. And Knight of Wands would be also his card, because he is younger and so not exactly settled in his life, but also very action driven, oriented, creative. And he has also appeared a lot of times as the Knight of Wands in tarot reads concerning him. So it's either the King or the Knight of Wands, but it's usually that energy. And yes, I was sulking over the disruption, or at what I thought at the time the complete rupture and cutoff of the energy exchange. So I was really sad about it, because I was really I thought I had potential with this story that he inspired me, that I was working on, and I was really getting attached to the layers of complexities and the depth that I had woven into the story. So it was like a loss to no longer be inspired to carry the story, because it happens at 3 layers. And so it was like a magnificent puzzle game to figure out how to write a story in 3 layers and keeping the reader interested, but not reveal too much, not to give away too much, just give enough hints to make them ask questions and be interested and intrigued. And it was like a beautiful process. Now then, what I should be doing: Page of Pentacles is focus and be more studious, aka work on my project, but don't be overburdened or not carry the whole weight on my shoulders alone, which is a bit technically difficult since we are not talking. So communication has to be at the higher level, or through telepathy, or that stuff, if you believe in it. Most people don't. I do. But yeah, and I also need to drop some of the burdens of the stress, which is my home life with my alcoholic father, who is a pain in the ass, which, again, that sounds really bad, but he's like so selfish and so reckless and so stupid and retarded, and it's just a stressful situation. But I need to focus on my craft, my work, my story, my inspiration, my connection with my muse, and keep myself in this happier state of mind than the overburden stress and the sulking and the whole longing for what has been lost that cannot be recovered. Where I was standing, which I'm potentially leaving behind, Nine of Wands is holding on, Page of Wands, good news. So it's not like I was specifically holding on and keeping guard for the cavalry and good news. It feels more like I was holding on and eventually good news came towards me, which also, since they're back to each other, there's like a disconnect and then a rupture. And the Page of Wands is looking at the Fool, which is a new direction, a new journey, a new adventure, which the light goes back up towards these two cards. So it's like a whole pathway of look for new hope, because new collaboration will end up in something solid and fruitful that will emerge eventually. Where I am headed at is either mysteries or trust my intuition. Oh, my intuition will know the truth. Truth will be revealed. There will be new communication, new insights. New insight will confirm suspicions or things that I sort of felt or knew deep within myself, which is reassuring and good, which could help the story, which could technically also justify and, how should I say this, confirm the presence of the Four of Wands, which is a more solidified union or laying basis for a union within the main energy of a collaboration between different entities or minds or scales, resources, whatever, that 3 different things come together to create one project. And so with the aid of something, clarity and insight that is confirming inner knowledge, all of this will make sense. Advice from the universe, gods, my ancestors, yadla yadla: don't be afraid to start anew, to take the leap of faith, but be a little defensive and keep or maintain your boundaries, which was the whole thing that caused the rift between me and my muse. I broke his boundaries with a bad joke, comment, miscommunication, misunderstanding about an expression, which was technically against his TOS, but I meant it as in my boy, like, from The Godfather. Look how they massacred my boy in that sense. But I understood later that that expression, my boy, can be completely different on different social medias used by younger generations. So, yeah, absolute badass miscommunication and mistranslation of one expression between generations. But yeah, I'm not afraid to start anew, be fresh, be spontaneous, sparky, and yes, while maintaining a sense of healthy boundaries, but still, being innocent and casual and carefree and not overburdened by it. And now my final cards, which normally there isn't like a final seventh section here, but I felt intuitively called to do it. So we have the Queen of Wands, which is in this case my card, and the Ace of Cups. Interesting. So I will find new emotional fulfillment, perhaps continuing this project or tackling this project with a set of fresh eyes, fresh perspective, fresh endeavor. But also, it's interesting, we have the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Cups. So, new emotional input or clarity that will bring the whole of this situation even more solidified in the collaborative exchange and a more solid, grounded exchange energy at the top in my headspace. All the while respecting boundaries of people involved in said project. So yeah, it's so far it's fairly good. It's pretty decent. At least the Three of Swords didn't pop up, so I'm very happy about that. That's very good. And now I'm gonna try, let me see, a Celtic or Shadow, since it's for myself, so I have the luxury of time. But overall, good read. If I can make peace with him, that's all that matters to me. Because even if he's not aware in the 3D, his higher self in the 5D is aware and is, well, the expression push notifications on popped into my mind. So, like, his higher self is aware and is helping me with the story or with the other stories, just sending me ideas and concepts and just visuals that I can translate into a story. So, I am very grateful for that aspect in our connection. I was shuffling for the Celtic Cross, and guess who popped out again? Ten of Cups and the Knight of Swords. So, fast-paced communication brings complete happiness and joy and unbridled happiness. Like, really, this is unlimited, the jackpot of happiness cards. But it's also interesting. So, but also active, meaningful words. Or are they in conflict? Because this guy is charging towards that happiness card, but they are oblivious of the sheer force of communication that is coming towards them. But she looks like she's looking yearningly at this communication. So, and he's like very optimistic and confident about it. So maybe it's good. So whatever communication that could be brash or otherwise not quite thought through still brings a hefty dose of happiness, which is good in hindsight. Furthermore, apparently I am moving into calmer waters, safe situations, a nice and steady and safe place, which is technically all that matters to me because the stress had been stupid and I could live the rest of the summer without useless stress plaguing and slowing me down. So this is also a good omen. Okay, so Celtic Cross, still with the Red Fairy Tarot. Right off the bat, what I'm noticing is a repetition. We have the Seven of Wands, being defensive. We have the Ace of Swords that pops out. The Hierophant, the Eight of Swords popped out during shuffle. And the Chariot also, which is a decisive road to victory, but also success. So far so good. I also like the fact that we have Judgment, Second Chance, and Knight of Cups, which is a meaningful gesture from the heart, leading to a second chance. But here is the situation and the challenge. So the challenge is the revival, and we have the Seven of Swords in need to focus on, which we will see what this can be, because if I need to focus on, it can go multiple ways, one among which I need to be more cautious in what I share online so as to protect people involved in my story project. Anyway, let's dive in. I'm just gonna slide these just a little so I can have space. So then, current situation, Knight of Cups, meaningful gesture from the heart towards interesting repeating card. We have the Four of Wands again. So in my current situation, there is a peace offering is really what pops to mind to make something beautiful, tangible, solid, and also like a gateway, something to go underneath towards, because like you see the archway, but then we have that house there. So with this meaningful gesture, this peace offering, there is a permission to tackle or step on this path to something solid. And also you know that the Victory Gate in Paris, France, l'Arche de la Triomphe, it's really sort of what it reminds me of, what pops to mind. So because we have this meaningful gesture from the heart, this peace offering, there will be a sense of victory and celebration if we go underneath this arch. And because normally the Four of Wands is settled down in marriage, but I do not believe that is the case for my personal situation. So it's more like collaboration or union, but on other fronts than strictly love and marriage. Number 2, challenges. So we have the Second Chance, the Judgment, but also Eight of Pentacles. So this is good. This is putting in the work. And like I said, with this second chance, this revival, and we are back after a slight interruption, which is still the cutest interruption ever. Give me a sec. Oh, I just can't. They're so cute. Aww. Oh, cutie witty puppies. And here's the rest of them. Ada Mansion Sleepy Weepy. Sleepy Weepy Mansion, Sleepy Weepy. So then my current situation is a revival of something that can lead to concrete success and achievements, and something grounded or like the basis for something upon which I can build. My challenge is this revival and this second hope, this fresh breath of fresh air that I need to put more work into to solidify, to work. In my case, it would be editing, rereading, re editing, taking out things that don't make sense in the story that I, as the writer, know, but as the reader doesn't know, so it's not so obvious, and how to tweak things, how to implement little hints of the layers of the story and such things. So it's really being dedicated to the craft. And like I had in my previous read with the Page of Pentacles, with the Eight of Pentacles, it's really mastering my craft and being studious, paying attention, noticing what I wouldn't notice because I'm the creator of the story, but really taking a step back and imagining myself as a reader who don't know anything of the background context of the characters at the first level of the story, so I can make the second level of the story coherent and just a little question raising, but not too much. Number 3, needs to focus on being clever, being tactical, being stealthy, with charming, with my soulmate, with my partner in crime, my I guess that would be my muse at the 5D level. Now this is interesting. So I need to focus on being a little more shady, a little more careful, a little more discerning, a little more cautious, a little more stealthy. Unless this card is about him. And I need to decipher clues and stuff that are sprinkled my way if my suspicions are correct, which I'm keeping on a very tight leash not to fall into false interpretations and false hopes and projections or whatever. Like, I'm so very cautious of not maintaining boundaries, but also being cautious of not revealing too much, but also not hurting people and not disclosing things that might be harmful to anybody or hurt especially this person that I deeply care about. And so it is definitely a stealthy waltz into crafting a story, respecting my muse and what he inspired me, and not cause more damage and hurt and pain, and keeping a not status quo, but I guess, yeah, like a semblance of professional detachment. Because although I think I do love him, I don't know. Since I do not technically know him in the 3D, it's more like only the 5D or the higher self, the stuff that we are not aware of, that I'm more attuned to, which I don't know how he is attuned to, or like he isn't aware of it. So it's a tricky thing to be between the two worlds, I guess. Anyway, I might come back to this if I have more insight or something. As the need to focus on section, be more cautious, be more shadowy, be more reserved, I guess, to an extent. Anyway, number 4, your past or leaving. And we have this 7 of Wands, which is the defensive card. Happiness. So being defensive about happiness or leaving happiness behind. And to an extent, yes, because I completely left the platform on which I had found him to, well, miscommunication. He blocked me, so I just left because it was senseless to like stay there. Although I could have just to share my own personal little projects, but I could do it elsewhere too. So yeah, definitely left that in the past, and I'm not sure if I'm ready to get back to it. So for the timing, there's no rush in going back. And yeah, I did sacrifice happiness and shit, but I can handle it. 5, strength, which is the 8 of swords, which is stress. Yeah, I'm stressed at home, and but I also impose it on myself because I chose to be here to take care of this drunken retard alcoholic who has refused his whole life through to get therapy. So just imposing his selfish ass retard, and I realize I'm no better than him. But anyway, um, my strength is I can find hope and strength and healing even in stressful situations, which, yes, it is my case. I'm pretty good at seeing the positive in most situations, or at least have an escape route, which are usually my fictional characters, my self created one, or others to like help me navigate challenging situations. And I need to move my cards on the other side to have space for the rest of the reading. Numero 6, near future. Oh yeah, so I need to move these guys. Near future for Pentacles, holding on, especially to finances. But with this, be cautious of what I am holding on to, and holding on to in a cautious way, in a studious way, in a studied, applied, patient way. So this can be both a sense of hope, holding on to hope, and the fragility and the innocence and the youth and the fresh perspective that I have on my story now. Now that we have this second chance at revival of it, but also holding on and being cautious of what I let out in the world. If I look at the Seven of Swords and the Four of Pentacles, especially, it's a sense of being extremely cautious and stealthy and sort of crafty with how I express myself and where I express myself. Because obviously I do have an Alt X account where I can like dish out confessions and shit. Maybe I need to put more stuff there instead of indulging in honesty on the main one. For instance, that could be something these two cards would imply, like share your love in a more secretive way, in a more safe way. Number 7, advice. Tell the truth, which basically counters what I just said here. Or trust in your insight and your communication. Walk away from the truth. Walk towards the truth. 8 of Cups is walking away from investment, so don't expect. But also we have the Judgment to the second chance, so it's a bit like a contradicting message. Or rather, be careful what you walk away from. Get inside before you walk away. Be more discerning of what you walk away or why you walk away. It's definitely, it's such a mixed energy. It's almost schizophrenic. On one hand, here we have this beautiful collaboration from the heart, work put into with the second breath of air, but be cautious of your beloved or your like special one. hold on and be studious and apply work. Be defensive about maybe illusory happiness. Let the truth handle things, but walk away and cut off people if necessary. Environment, expectations, waiting, patience, waiting for an end. But what end? Like the end of the story, or the end of communication, the end of collaboration, or just like the wholesome end of everything that will lead into the basis that the four of wands could promise, like building foundations. In my case, that would be right having a basis and skill to write more stories, to publish, to eventually make money from, and not just for practice or sharpening my skill sets. So my environment is about expecting departure and expecting conclusion, maybe expecting conclusion about this, and being able to be more open and honest about what I feel without scaring people or passing for a mentally unstable person, which I know it can, because people are limited to their five senses, and I'm just more attuned to other stuff. Um, Hopes and fears, happiness and stability, but also the Five of Cups, which is a repeating card. So I hope of ending this situation and step into that situation. Instead of sulking on what I have lost and what is no longer mine or in my reach, I do hope to end that cycle, close that chapter, and move to happily ever after. Which, when I said that the Ten of Cups is the emotional jackpot, the Ten of Pentacles, double tens now, is the financial stability. No longer need to worry and have a legacy to leave to uh, my my descendants, which I don't have at the moment, which I don't think I will have, but just in the off chance, that would be nice. Potential outcome. Hierophant is a higher level commitment with the King of Wands. Jesus Christ, okay, I was not expecting that. But this would definitely confirm the Four of Wands in a more, also since we have the Two of Cups, in a more romantic way. Because the Hierophant is definitely a higher level commitment, marriage, contracts, community, living for your small community, trusting them, having resources in your community. But with the King of Wands, it's also about passion and being assertive, empowered, taking charge, taking lead, being inspired, being creative, and being a freaking charming ass. Like, these guys not half bad looking. But it's also like really this he knows his worth, and he knows his charisma and his power, his determination, his creative side. He can tackle any project, and he probably has like a podcast, a series, TikToks, everything, and he's like running multiple businesses and projects at the same time because he knows how to diversify his creative energy to make it profitable, but also in a traditional way with the Hierophant. So I'm guessing the potential outcome is definitely, in my case, traditional publishing of my stories and my books, if everything goes well and honky dory, which would be like a dream come true, but I'm not holding my breath. It's a lot of work to master the craft and to navigate these interesting situations that I am finding myself in. But still, one can hope. I'm not, like I said, I'm open to receive love, but I'm not actively looking for it. Like Tara Swartz said. on Diary of a CEO podcast. So overall, my Celtic and my Vitruvian are pretty decent looking. It's pretty good. I'm happy.